For those of you expecting a usual MacGyver's Workshop episode, today you get the son of MacGyver. It's kind of become a tradition now that about every Christmas time I hijack my dad's YouTube channel. Now, another question you're probably asking yourself is, where's MacGyver at? That's not that important. What really is important is today we're going to do a little something fun. Not just usual repairs or anything like that. Today we're working on my Powerstroke. We're going to be doing a few awesome little mods, doing some exhaust transmission work, putting a gauge cluster in and all that kind of fun stuff. This is actually so much fun, we're going to have to do it in 3 parts. So stay tuned, folks.
You can go ahead and untie me now, son. Son? Hey, son. Where'd he go? Ah, you son of a...
I really was a fan of Top Gear, but the new Grand Tour show is pretty awesome.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is Top Gear, it's not about Top Gear. Okay? Top Gear was never about Top Gear. You had, you know, yeah, you had the BBC version. Okay? But really, Top Gear is, or what we who love Top Gear was the chemistry and interaction between Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and Richard Hammond.
I mean, you're talking about...
Corvette is America.
Yeah.
In all its fault, with all its faults.
So everything that is Corvette is America, and then you take the Z06, which is a whole nother level of America. You know,
like
in 63 was an internal rebellion from the guys at the Corvette division that were basically giving the middle finger to the heads of GM that wouldn't do factory racing because of a gentleman's agreement. Said, you know what, we're going to make a factory ready, right on the showroom race car.
You're a diehard GM guy, okay? And I'm a GM guy. Okay?
Sold my soul.
And, you know, but I will say, you know, that the Ford Powerstroke, you know, I got mine, you know, in a deal halfway through. I was buying the Grand Marquis because I needed a reliable beater to get back and forth to work every day. And I saw that truck there. It came in on a trade, and this particular lot didn't want it, so they made me a package deal, and I got both of them for like $8,000, you know. So, you know, it was a killer deal. But that's turned out to be the best damn truck I've ever had.
Oh yeah, and you know, and anybody that knows me knows how much of a diehard GM guy I am. But I've always had, you know, a bit of respect for the 7.3. 7.3 was always a great motor.
Well, son, I guess I got tired of listening to all that car talk, you reckon? I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah.
Went shopping, I think.
Yeah, but she forgot about this.
And we were unsupervised.
Unsupervised adults for a whole week.
Well, the adult part's debatable.
That is very true.
Purely a technicality.
Yes.
So he's got a pillar gauge kit. And we got the filter and block and pickup foot for the hutch mod in the tank. And extra filter and water separator before the main pump. And all the fittings and bits and bobs to make that happen. And then there's his pillar kit for the gauges. And then of course oil, filter, transmission fluid, and Shift kit's around here somewhere. Where do we put that? Remember? And then the turbo back exhaust. It's kind of a universal, inexpensive kit, and that'll allow it to breathe just a little bit better. And what started it all in the first place was him asking about the shift kit. And I was like, sure, son, come on down here for Christmas and we'll throw her up on the lift and make it happen. And then he probably had all this other stuff he was wanting to do in the work, so it just made sense. Bring it on! And what I have to say is I think my son's most Chuck Norris badass piece of kit, and I assure you I will have one before too long, is this thing they call a topside creeper. And that is just the epitome of badass. And that's for where you got to lay up over in a truck that sits high off the ground. So we'll get a look at that here in just a second. Okay, now that's, of course, that's set up a bit high, but you can get up in there. That's how you can get up inside the truck. That is just totally awesome. So there, Cochise, where are we going to start?
Well, I figure we'll start with the gauge pods and go ahead and get all the wires and probes and everything run, and that way as we hook up the exhaust and all that, we can just...
Yeah, we'll get all the clean work done before we get dirty sinking into that tranny and exhaust. Yeah,
exactly.
Good thinking. Okay, so my son's decided how he wants to orient his gauges in here, and we're going to start with the boost gauge first. But you look at yourself and you go, okay, how are you going to deal with this gnarly mess of hard plastic line for the boost gauge? And because it's not going to be very cooperative. So how we'll do that is with a heat gun. And I'll put it on low. And just warm it up. Okay, so we've got the gauges mounted in the pod, and if you'll flip the pod around, what we've done, what was a what was a gnarly mess of loose wires, we've kind of all bundled together in kind of a pseudo harness that has plenty of room for you to pull each individual gauge pod out if you need to. And then it'll come down to here. This is where the exhaust gas temperature sensor will go, and then the green one here goes to the tranny temp sensor, and then everything else is loose until we decide where we're going to connect underneath the dash. We have to find a way to get the wires through the firewall without making a big gaping hole. So we're going to use the hole where the clutch master cylinder would have been had this been a manual shift truck. And there's a plate that just pops in, and the arrow is up, and you can see, of course I've already drilled a pilot hole, but that's where that goes, and that'll be a perfect hole to get our exhaust gas temperature wire through, and our transmission temperature, and whatever else. I think everything else we need we can get from inside the passenger compartment. So, you know, the less we got snaking around the engine compartment, the better. So, okay, so
what is this?
let's see here if we can show you. Yeah, it's not going to focus very well, is it? Anyway, our exhaust temperature and our transmission sensor and our boost reference is coming through. We got them, and Michael's working on getting the boost reference port undone. And there's his gauge pod all mounted up nice in there. A little bit of a challenge, but don't freak, I'm gonna turn the ignition on, but I'm not gonna start. And there's that. Of course, trans temp's gonna go all the way up because we don't have it sensor hooked up yet, but we'll do all the interior stuff while our hands are still clean. That's the trick. Then you see, you'll get to see Michael use his topside creeper thing, which is really awesome.
Yep.
Perfect?
Yep. You pulled an RTV on there?
Yep.
Fat.
Yeah. That is so bitchin'.
I fell in love with it when I first saw it. I was like, ah, yep.
Yeah, I fell in love with it too, I can tell you.
Got that.
Alright, so what he's doing here, he's putting a little daub, just a little tiny daub of RTV on the brass fitting there to seal the, that's all. Just to seal that boost. Some people use Teflon tape. I don't trust it. I know RTV is not going to leak. And then it's going to go in right there. Hold on. Yeah, that's in that. Wasn't that where the? This is actually another mod, isn't it?
Yep, this truck was equipped from the factory with the cold weather package or cold start package. It actually has the block heater in it. It also had an air intake heater for cold start or whatever. It would work off a solenoid, just like same basic principle as the glow plugs, and heat up. But it's a big, huge restriction in the air intake, and it doesn't really do a whole lot, to be honest. So I went ahead and got this from Glow Shift Products, the same company I got the gauge pods from. Does away with deletes with that, plugs it, and gives you a nice port to hook your boost reference to.
Yep.
Works out
pretty cool.
just peachy.
Heck yeah. And then we'll hook your boost line to your boost gauge to that. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's get that hooked up. Now, what we're going to have to do here with this Egt sensor, the manufacturer of the gauge kit recommends putting it right at the turbo flange, but you can't really get to that here in this truck. So all the forums say put it in the driver's side manifold right here. So that's what we're going to do. Now you'll notice I got a vacuum shop vac set up here to where it's going to suck all the chips out, and then once we get our hole done, then we'll stick a magnet in there and try and gather up any other extra chips that we may have. So that'll help hopefully. So here we go. Okay, so we got our hole drilled. Now we're going to go in here and stick our magnet in there. Whoop, that wasn't supposed to be there. And we'll run our magnet around in there and get any chips. Hopefully the vacuum cleaner got most of them, but invariably one or two might have got in there. Good.